It's a really pretty day outside, guys. I'm super excited to be vlogging. Welcome back to my channel, Fly with Irene. My name is Irene. If you guys don't know, I am a flight attendant here in the US. If you guys are new here to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe once you're finished watching this video. If you guys are returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate all your support, and I'm glad you guys are still here along with me on this journey of becoming a flight attendant. La, la, la. Okay, so before I even begin this video, I wanted to let you guys know what days I'm recording these videos on, so you kind of have a glimpse as to how I'm keeping track of my life as well. So today is actually September 11th, 2019. I decided to re-record my video on this day just because I believe it's a very, very big thing for the aviation industry. Hopefully everyone that's watching this video does know of 9/11 and knows that as a whole, we were all affected by the terrorist attack that happened on this day 18 years ago. I just think it's really important to shed some light and let you guys know that we have to remember these people, because not only are these people who lost their lives, but also I feel like it's important to use this day to remember all those people that sacrificed their lives to take down the planes that could have caused way, way more damage than they already did. So not to start this off on a depressing note or anything like that, I just think it's very important to bring this up to you guys, especially because I am vlogging on this day. And I think that now that I am working for the aviation industry as a flight attendant, it definitely means a lot to me. I know I was watching some clips this morning and it definitely made me extremely emotional to watch the Twin Towers fall once again. I guess it just hits home a little harder because I can empathize with the people that went through that situation. So if you are watching this, please pause it for about a minute and just take a moment of silence to remember all those people who lost their lives today, because we want to make sure that they're never forgotten. Bring you guys over here, brighten up this video a little bit more. Here's doggy number 1. This is Logan. Here's doggy number 2. I will show you guys today. There's Olive. I think that's the first time I've shown you guys her since her eye removal, but it's healing very nicely. It still looks a little funky, but the fur's not all the way back. This is doggy number 3. This is Storm. Say hi. And we're back. Today's video is one I'm sure you guys have been waiting for. I have been dying to make this video for you guys because it's probably my favorite, but also I didn't want to do this video quite yet just because I wanted to wait almost around the time that I was gonna be going to training to give you guys this story. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I was mentioning how I got hired as a flight attendant. If some of you guys are watching, whether it's friends or family, I'm sure you've heard this story already. But if you are new here, I hope you enjoy this story. It's quite messy, but in the end, it got me the job. Alright, so beginning with the application process. I wasn't really looking for a specific airline, and that's just because I was just looking to become a flight attendant. I didn't really do too much research because I just figured whichever airline I ended up with was probably the one that I'm supposed to be with. So of course, I didn't get the job right away. I did apply to several airlines. The first 2 airlines that I had applied to were American and Delta. I did get a video interview with Delta, but at the time that I had got this interview, which was sometime last year, I believe during the summer, I wasn't really ready to shift in my life. That was like a huge change for me at the time. I wasn't really financially steady. I was still going to school and I just wasn't ready to pick up and move somewhere else. But anyhow, I applied to the airline that I'm with today. And let me tell you guys, it has been a waiting process. But it's okay, we're patient. Alright guys, so beginning with the application, I actually applied for this airline back in February of this year. I turned in my application exactly on February 19th. There was kind of a lot of hiccups throughout my application process and the hiring process in general. Again, on my end, unfortunately. When I was filling out my application online, there is an option, and it's probably the first question they're going to ask you for any application with an airline. That question was, are you a US citizen? In which I am. So obviously I had clicked yes. But see, the problem was I was trying to scroll down on my laptop, but instead of using the mouse pad as I always do, I decided I was going to use the keypad. And as I was pressing down, I did not realize I was switching my answer from yes to no, from yes to no. So you can imagine how disappointed I was to immediately receive a email that was denying my application because it said I wasn't qualified to work for the company. I was extremely confused because I had no idea why. I answered everything correctly. I met all the qualifications, so I actually went back online to my application and looked. What I saw was that I had put no, I am not a US citizen. So if you are applying to be a flight attendant, you know that it's almost always a waiting process to actually just apply. And some airlines, when they do deny you, you aren't allowed to reapply until 6 months from the date that you originally applied. So I was like freaking out, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I was frantically looking, emailing people, trying to email the recruiting people, trying to see who I can get in touch with to correct my application. I actually fixed my application and I resubmitted it, which could have messed up my chances altogether. Luckily, I was able to get in touch with someone from the recruiting center through email, and they let me know that they still were going to process my application as it was a mistake. So I just got lucky. I feel like a lot of this time I got lucky. It's gonna be a pretty long timeline, so just stay there, you know, go get your popcorn, get your snacks. If you're in bed, just lay there. Shortly after I turned in my application, I actually received another email. This would be the second email throughout the application process. And it was actually an email that said they liked my application, they liked what they saw, and they would like to invite me to do a video interview. I received this email on February 22nd, and it let me know that I had 5 days to complete this video interview in order for them to review it and then have time to decide whether they want to invite me for a face-to-face. Anyway, I was like super stoked, but I really had no fancy wear. What I ended up doing was I went to Marshall's, I think it was. I actually ended up finishing my video interview on February 22nd. Knowing me, I usually do things really last second, but we got it done. So what I ended up doing is, luckily in my room, my shades to my window are not normal shades. It's actually one of those slide down screens, which I use for my projector. It's awesome. It's basically like a blank canvas background, which was so amazing to have at the time because I ended up using that for my background. What I ended up doing was I unplugged a lamp from the other side of the room, plugged it by my bed, stacked it on top of the bed. On my bed itself, I had 3 rolls of toilet paper, a binder, and like something else just to pop up my phone. Mind you, I completely forgot to charge my phone, so it was at like 20%. And then in the back of my phone, I actually had popped up my computer as well, so I had kind of an idea as to what I wanted to say, because unfortunately they don't let you know what the questions are going to be during your video interview. So of course during my interview I did not look like this. I had my hair up in a very small bun, clean makeup, professional, very simple, maybe a red lipstick. I had a nice white blouse on and a blazer over, I think it was black. But anyhow, I answered the questions they had provided for me, but of course, being me, we had some difficulties midway. Since I hadn't charged my phone, as I was answering one of the questions that they had provided me, the low battery sign popped up midway, which actually cut me off 4 seconds into answering a question. I was really bummed because when I closed the pop-up, it actually kicked me out and sent me to the following question. So I wasn't able to finish answering the question that I had. So I explained on the following question what had happened. I answered the previous question and the one that was next. And yeah, after that, I just turned it in and hoped for the best. I was actually really skeptical at the time because I figured I already screwed up the application. I just messed up the video interview. The chances of me actually getting a face-to-face interview were probably really slim. But of course, I was hoping that the hiring recruiters had a sense of humor and just let it slide because I was just dying to have this job. So pretty much a month later, on April 1st, I received a follow-up email from them. And I just opened this email and it was like, congratulations, you have a face-to-face interview. I had to fly out to Texas for a face-to-face interview. I received this email on April 1st. And within the email, they basically told me I had to choose certain dates out of the ones that they provided, and those were the dates I was going to fly out and have my face-to-face interview with the recruiting team. Thankfully, the dates that I ended up choosing and the dates that they provided happened to fall during my spring break. So it gave me plenty of time to get ready for the interview. Some airlines require you to pay for your flight to go out for the interview, but thankfully my airline covered those costs, so it didn't come out of my own pocket. The only thing that did come out of my pocket was the hotel I was staying at, which was fairly cheap. $60-$70 just to stay one night for an interview that will change your life is totally worth it. So fast forward to April 16th. I live in Orange County, so I flew out of John Wayne Airport. And I'm just trying to prepare myself because although I know what I want, and usually I can just come up with an answer right then and there when it's asked, this is probably the first time that I was actually really nervous to be interviewed. And this isn't to sound conceited or anything like that. I've just always been a very confident person when it comes to job interviews. I feel like if you go in with that kind of mindset, you don't really have room for error. And maybe it's just in my head, but I think it actually increases your chances of getting the job. So now we land in Houston, Texas. Let me tell you, the airport there is humongous. Like, I wish I can put a giant caption right here, like, humongous.
I think I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I'm sacrificing for the blog.
So I was going over my flashcards towards the evening, and I was just kind of really getting into detail as to what I was going to say for certain questions. I actually ended up making an acronym for why I wanted to be a flight attendant, which was really, really cool. So it kind of helped me when I was in my interview. Alright, so I'm talking a lot, I know, just stay with me. Yes, confirmed. 8 o'clock a.m. I had printed out a resume because that is the one thing they asked you to bring. I was downstairs by like 6:40. My shuttle driver was so sweet, so kind. But I hopped on the shuttle. I told the shuttle driver, go ahead and drop off the family at the airport. I should have plenty of time to get to the training facility afterwards. But since there was a family and little children sitting next to me, I tucked in my resume on the back seat pocket, which ended up being the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. The training facility and the recruiting center is actually 5 minutes from the airport because my airline's home base is in Houston, Texas. So I get out of the van, I thank my shuttle driver, and I sit right outside just until it hits 7:30. I see a couple people around me mingling, getting to know each other, and what do I see on the table in front of these people? Their resumes. Which, my resume was now driving away with my shuttle driver back to the hotel. I am the queen of hiccups. Boy, was I stressing. I called up the hotel, practically begged them to ask their shuttle driver could come back and drop off my resume. So shout out to my shuttle driver. This man came all the way back, dropped off my resume, wished me the best of luck. Of course, I tried to tip him because he went out of his way for me, but all he wanted was for me to get the job. He was very supportive, and I was extremely thankful that he went out of his way to drop off my resume, because if he hadn't, I probably wouldn't have gotten the job.
Still currently getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. So I'm gonna try and make this quick.
Now that we're finally at the interview place, I go into the room where everyone else that was invited to interview is, and I realize I have competition. I gotta say, I was probably the youngest person there. Everyone else there looked to be in their mid-20s, maybe 30s. And I know for a fact, some of the people there were already flight attendants. But I felt extremely confident within myself. And I knew if I kept that mentality, I would be okay. Because it is the interview process, I cannot say what happened in between because that is confidential, and airlines do not want you discussing what happens within their interview process because then it's going to give everything away, and I completely understand why, so I apologize. If you came to watch this video to hear about what happened in between, I'm not going to share that just from beginning to end. It was wonderful. The hiring process was amazing. And I gotta say, this was the first time I've ever been to an interview and I was actually unsure on whether I had the job or not. By the end of this process, I got offered a conditional offer with this airline. And then to top off the fact that I got a job with this airline, on my flight back home, I actually made friends with 2 senior flight attendants who have been working for the company for over 20 years. But it was so amazing to be able to hear kind of what my future is going to look like. The flexibility you get once you have seniority, the places you're going to travel to. If you made it to the end of this video, congratulations! You have won a cute picture of my dog. Thank you guys so much for just sitting here and listening to my story. It's one I've been wanting to share with you guys for the longest time, but like I said, I've been saving it because I wanted to do it right before I go to training, just to keep you guys updated with that. The last email I received from my airline was on August 31st. Just over a week ago, they just let me know that I will be receiving my dates fairly soon. They are in the process of collecting dates for the classes of fall and winter of this year. So by the end of 2019, I will officially be a flight attendant. Again, I'm going to keep you guys updated on that whole process. I'm super excited. I can't wait to share with you guys when I get that email, when I get my dates, and bring you guys along when I go to training in Houston, Texas. Y'all know we're gonna smack some barbecue. Y'all know. Anyways guys, thank you so much for coming to watch my video. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe as well. I will also be linking any of my social media. You guys are welcome to follow me. You guys can message me anytime you want with any questions or comments. Any support is welcome. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys soon. Thank you again. My name is Irene and we are out.